I do. Regent Bale,
Present.
Regent Roddy,
Present.
Regent Hammond, Regent Helm,
Here.
Regent Milliken,
Here.
Regent Nichols,
Present.
Regent Spiller,
Here.
Vice Chair Thomas, Chair West,
Present.
and Regent Robbins.
Here.
That means we have 11 regents representing the farm and Fleet Board.
Very good. It's great to see everybody here today on this beautiful day for the commencement tonight as well. And so we're going to start off with the academic affairs.
Here. We have one action item, special call. Approval, motion tenure.
Yeah, thank you for the special meeting. Under the guidelines, we need to approve before May 15th. There's the start of the day so far. And by May 15th to be within the policies. So thank you for that time. I'd like to say a few words just about tenure to begin with as we start. Any person who's up today for tenure and promotion has gone through a rigorous process and has put extraordinary investment of time, energy, and sustained commitment over the many years that they've been here. During these years, faculty work to develop innovative teaching, produce meaningful scholarship, creative work, and contribute significantly to the departments, institutions, and professions. In addition, they service students, and you can see, and we'll talk some things later on, they do a great job at servicing students and balancing the day-to-days that get larger and larger in some cases as we move forward. To get tenure, you will be annually evaluated every year and move forward. But what ultimately happens is in year 5, you put in for year 6 tenure and promotion. And what we're talking about is a rigorous multi-level review process that takes a portfolio to get there. And if you're even going from associate professor after you've got tenure to get to full professor, you have to do a portfolio again. And it goes through the whole hierarchy and it has to approve. So they do a huge amount of work both to get to that point to be even able to be tenured and or promoted. And when they get there, you can be assured that we spend a significant amount of time making sure that they have reached what they need to reach to be a professor at Western Kentucky University. And with that, I'd like to say I want to make one change at the bottom. Julian Allergen, it says Mathematics, Ogden College of Science and Engineering. I'd like to remove that person from the list. It was our new chair of what would be math. And unfortunately, he signed a contract, he was coming, and then he had some discussions with his family and they have decided to stay where they are. So I would like to remove that name at this point.
Which page is that?
It's under initial appointment at rank of professor and tenure. Page 2. Having said that, we have 36 faculty for promotion and tenure and or tenure.
Does anyone have any questions or comments about the candidates or the process?
I'd just like to echo what the provost said. For those of you that don't know my past, I earned tenure at another institution and then gave it up to come here. So I was a junior faculty member for something like 12 years before finally getting to step into a tenure here. As he talked about the process, and I've described this to you before, that when a departmental faculty vote to grant tenure to a person, they're saying your work represents something that we see great promise in, and that we believe you will keep doing. It's not granted because of a certain number of years or anything like that. It is the culmination of an awful lot of work, and sometimes a very hard year of proving yourself, even though you've done that during your time here. That's for tenure, which we've had some people question at the state and federal level. It is not just easily granted at all. And then to get to full professor is something that we don't have to grant either in the departments or in the colleges or provost level. So to earn that is quite important. And I'd also like to point out that we have people who are district voters for instructors as well. And that, you know, those are the people who are focused. Not so much the research side, but they have earned outstanding teaching evaluation, dedicate themselves to teaching and to advising and other things. And so we're promoting those as well. So at a time when some question the role of tenure, the way for us to keep those faculty here and give them some freedom, and I've heard the president talk about this before, the freedom to work on things that can bring value to the university, and then they can give us leadership back. So it's an important milestone for this team.
Derek, one of the things that we realized a few years ago, some of you will recall this, is that we were granting tenure in a way that didn't celebrate this accomplishment. It was done as a part of approving other pay. And you'll see later you have that in the committee meetings separate from this. And I wanted to ensure that board understood that with your approval, you are granting these folks the tenure that we are suggesting they have earned. For them, I want them to feel celebrated by the institution. We actually do have a celebration, not in the summer, but when we return in August, all of the newly tenured faculty come over to the house, and we have a big celebration because it is a tremendous accomplishment. It is a lifetime of work and the culmination of, so thank you all for taking the time to honor these folks and recognize them.
Any other comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the list of motions and tenure with the deletion of Julie and Alec. So moved. Motion. Second. All in favor? I'm sure that's all we had.
And our next item of business is the executive committee, and we have one action item, which is the approval of properties.
Jan, before
Oh,
we
I'm
get to
sorry,
that, may I
Kurt.
make a comment?
Yes, yes.
I just want to make note of the passing of a retired faculty member, Sylvia Kirstenbaugh. Sylvia passed away on March 22nd, 1926. Some of you may have known her. Many of you probably have not known her. I first met her as a client and then came to know her as a friend. I learned a lot about her in conversations over the years. It was my pleasure to see her perform on numerous occasions. She could perform an entire concert with not a sheet of music in front of her. Her command of piano and the harp was outstanding. She was a consummate musician and just a fine lady. She held degrees from the National Conservatory in Buenos Aires, diplomas from both the Academy of Saint Cecilia in Rome and the Accademia Signia in Siena. She appeared in recitals and as a soloist in orchestras throughout Europe, the Far East, North and South America. She used to tell me about performing in a concert in some foreign country and then couldn't get the money that she was paid out of the country because they wouldn't let her leave with the money. Just things like that. She was just a fine lady. Some of the orchestras that she performed with throughout Europe and the Far East were the London Symphony, the Royal Philharmonic, the München Philharmonica, the Orchestra of Swiss Romania, and the San Francisco Symphony. She came here as a professor of piano in 1976 and taught students here for over 30 years. She retired in 2007. She was awarded an honorary membership in the American Beethoven Society and the WKU Faculty Award for Research and Creativity. A scholarship in her honor was endowed by WKU Delta Omicron chapter. I bring this up for two reasons. Number one, to kind of honor my friend, and number two, to tell you, this is a fair example of the caliber of the faculty here at WKU. This is why our students succeed, because they have this caliber of professors that are teaching them in the various departments. And I just think it's appropriate to make note of that in passing. Thank you, James.
Thank you, Regent Milliken. And I know I speak on behalf of all of us. Congratulate all of those who are tenured, newly tenured and promoted as well. So we are now to the executive committee action item, number 1, Jennifer, please, and Dobbins.
Afternoon on this beautiful day. Do we have the slides? Very good. So today we have transferred or purchased properties that the WKU Real Estate Corporation has been acquiring at the location is the future site of the academic complex building. If we could go to the next slide. There are 10 properties in total along State Street and Chestnut Street, and one on an alley, Parker Court, tiny location there. The remaining debt on the properties is approximately 3.16 million, and with interest accruing monthly. And so the final amount that will be needed will be determined by the closing date, which is why we're asking for approval to spend up to $3.3 million for the 10 properties. The funds themselves will be from the academic complex project. So no direct cost to the university. It's part of the appropriation from the legislature funding the project. If we go to the next slide, you can see the properties, where the properties are located. Right there on either side of Kissimmee Quick Alley, kind of between Chestnut Street and State Street. Do we have any questions?
There being none, I will take a motion for approval of purchase properties. Okay, any further discussion? Do I have a second? Regent told me second. Did you second the motion?
Well, I'll second.
Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion. And these are all of the items of business that we had on for our special call. So we are adjourned in that meeting, and we are just going to go ahead and move into our meeting. And we will call the committee meetings to order. Regent Dennison, can you call the roll again?
Regent Bale.
Present.
Regent Roddy.
Present.
Here.
Regent Helm.
Here.
Regent Milliken.
Here.
Regent Nichols.
Present.
Regent Spiller.
Present.
Vice Chair Thomas.
Present.
Chair West.
Present.
Regent Robbins.
Here.
Again, we have 11 regents present. Representing.
Thank you. You know, we're all still here. And we'll refer to Regent Helm again for the academic affairs.
There's two, I think, 3 action items. The first is approval of program suspension. Provost Fisher.
First action item is approval of the academic program suspension in kinesiology, Masters of Science. That comes about from the faculty who have looked at the job market and the changing professional standards, and have come to the conclusion that that no longer is needed, and that they are building a new type of program that you will see.
Any questions? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Second, all in favor? Passes. Second item, approval of the WKU Innovation Campus Microgrid Project.
Yeah, to give you a little bit of background and some understanding of this, Dave Brown is here and he would like to talk to you for a minute. Dean Brown?
Thank you, Provost Fisher. So it's a real pleasure to be here to bring this project to you. Normally, you would not see a grant project being brought before you. This is a project that results from a $2 million grant from the Department of Energy, but it involves some construction work. So it is the implementation of a solar microgrid. So this is a solar array to be built on the roof of the Innovation Campus, integrated with a battery backup system, and integrated as well with AI, artificial intelligence, in the controls. So you know we're always looking for win-win situations. This is really a win-win-win because it provides us with a green energy source. It provides us with a micro-scaled grid that we can do experiments on. So we can do actual research that will be published, that will be leading in the field. It also makes us a leader in the state. We are the first university to have such a microgrid on campus. But more than that, it serves the community because it provides us resilient infrastructure for power. So I think I've given you 5 wins there. So this is an opportunity to use a Department of Energy grant for $2 million, which was secured by members of our Department of Earth, Environmental and Atmospheric Science, including Drs. North, Drs. Durkee, and Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh being an AI whiz, if you'll allow me to use that term, who is going to use this system to study how we can best manipulate, best control grid power systems. And we all know how important that is for our future. So this is a construction project. We will be putting solar array on the roof. We will be wiring up the battery backup system, but it will be paid for out of this grant. So there's no general fund expenditures, and we do get some upgrades to our infrastructure, as well as an opportunity for our faculty and our students to do some groundbreaking research.
Brown, are there any questions?
I've got one just as I was reading. It says, I recommend the approval of interim authorization.
Because we didn't do it through the budget process, we have to go this summer to the capital projects committee and ask for it.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So move, we approve this project.
Second. Second. All in favor? Motion passed. Third item, approval of faculty emeritus.
Yeah, we have 2 faculty emeritus for today. Both were our full professors. First is Dr. Amy Capisi. She built a distinguished record of leadership, service, teaching, and scholarship during her time at WKU. She joined us in 2006, was tenured in 2012, and retired in 2024. She held a number of key leadership roles in social work, including program coordinator for the MSW, online MSW cohort studies coordinator, and an interim department chair. In addition to that, she's published 2 books, 12 peer-reviewed articles, and delivered more than 70 peer-reviewed and invited presentations. Certainly a faculty well-deserving of being emeritus. The second is Dr. Larry Owens, who's a professor, has a strong record in teaching, service, and scholarship. He joined the university in 2010. He was tenured and promoted in 2016 and retired in 2024. He was the first full-time social work faculty member in Owensboro, and later was in Elizabethtown campus. He was a dedicated advocate for regional campus students, and he too was a scholar with 23 peer-reviewed publications and 60 peer-reviewed presentations that focused on child welfare, teaching, leadership, and self-care. I think both are great candidates to be emeritus then.
Is there any questions or comments? None, I'll accept the motion approved. So moved. Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Item passes.
Yeah,
If you have information.
I do have information. How rare. We were talking a minute ago about our faculty and we were talking about how good they were and how they're committed to students. And I think there's some other ways that's shown in a large number of cases. We have done a great job. The faculty is certainly student-centered and they certainly care and are really interested in student success. And you have probably seen these in the paper, but I think it's worth pointing out again because I think these are really important as we move forward. First are the Gilman Scholars on this campus. We went through the fall, you put an application in October and you find out in March whether you win the Gilman Scholarship or not. And we had 11 Gilman Scholars on this campus. I will tell you two things. One, it was the most number of applicants ever for Gilman Scholars in the history of it this year. I can't remember the number. I was going to look it up, but forgot, sorry. But we had 11. No other institution in Kentucky had more than 2. So that gives you an idea right there. And it takes a lot. You have to do a portfolio per se and give recommendations and all types of things. And faculty are highly involved in that process and give lots of their time and effort. Second is the Goldwater Scholars. If you look, Cole Meander and Alejandro Ramirez both won Goldwater Scholars. There are not a huge number of Goldwater Scholars out there either. And it's the highest prize you can win if you're in the sciences as an undergrad. And what you see is that the only other institution in this state was Kentucky with 2 with us, and no other one won any. So that gives you, again, an idea of the commitment that the faculty has to the students and the type of students we have, right? The incredibly good students we have on this campus. And last is the Truman Scholar, which is won by Caden Lucas, which just happens to be in the room because he's the new student body chair. And he will be on this committee, I guess, after today, right, Rush? You're done? No? No. Oh, in August. I was trying, Rush. To give you an idea, that's a huge prize. That's very, very difficult to get. There's only 55 in the whole country. So that gives you an idea. And there are no others in Kentucky. He is the only Truman Scholar in Kentucky. So I think those 3 are great opportunities to say 2 things. One, thank you to the faculty. Thank you for all your hard work. And we do have quality faculty on this campus. And we have really, really high quality students.
Now all we need is a rose.
Okay.
Finance, budget, and audit. Ricky Bobby.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Susan, start you with item 1, the filing of the statement of revenues and expenditures for the nine months ending 3/31/26 and 1/5.
So, I'm pleased to present the third quarter, financial budget versus actual summary. I've got to say that once again, we have good news in the third quarter. We continue to make good improvement as campus, and I think it's an entire campus effort. So thank you to the deans and vice presidents and president and the provost, for their leadership, and really just the entire campus making a lot of good work towards good financial, outcomes. So what you'll see as we are approximately 6 million improvement over the prior year. And most of that is directly related to an increase in our net tuition revenue. I'll go over more of that in just a moment. But what you'll see, which I think is really important, and I understand is a technical accounting issue, but I think it's important to note that we had about 1.7 million in timing issues within accounting entries, meaning that if we had to back those out, we would be 7.7 million to the good at this point in time. So what I mean is we had some reimbursements that typically come in April, and last year they came in March. So if you had backed those out, we would have been about 1.7 million, even better than the prior year. So, but overall, still really good news, 6 million in the third quarter, better than the prior year. And turning to the revenue, overall, again, about 6.5 million improvement in revenue compared to the prior year. And another item is that we are at 89% of revenue in fiscal year 26 as compared to this time at 91%. In drilling down into the revenue, so this gets to the net tuition revenue I was talking about. So you'll see that the net tuition revenue is actually 9 million improved over prior year, and that's phenomenal. That really is, and that's directly related to strategic improvements in our scholarship model. So I think we have to thank our provost, John Mark, and our president for all the efforts in that. Looking at the non-tuition revenue, grants and contracts are lower, but I've been reporting that that's a cumulative, and I've been reporting that since the first quarter. And that's directly related to a decline in Pell eligible students because of some of the changes at the federal level. And then also we are seeing about a 9% decrease in extramurally funded research, but I don't want anybody to get panicked over that. That's really a national trend as they pull back federal grants at the federal level. So
And I will jump in there and say that year over year, we actually have put in more federal grants this year than last year. So in fact, they continue to do the work. It's just a shift in federal funding.
Other revenue is higher. Again, I've reported this in the past couple of reports, primarily because of the fundraising associated with both Chandler Hall and Ford Fieldhouse, and then the one-time contribution that happened in the first quarter from the WKU Research Foundation. Sales and services is down, and that's directly related to Todd won less football guarantee game. So that makes up most of that category. So we saw a reduction just from that. And then if you look at our auxiliaries, that's lower. And that's primarily, again, as I was talking about timing, this is where the timing shows. So that was the reimbursement from our Student Life Foundation that happened in March of last year, but happens in April of this year. So looking at our expenses, in current fiscal year, we're at about 80% of our annual budget as compared to 83%. So 3% down as a percent of our budget. Looking directly at personnel, which is probably the most significant part of our budget. The decline in wages and salaries is directly related to a decline in the number of faculty and staff we have on campus, primarily related to our VSIP that we did last year. But you'll see the big increase in health insurance, and that's something that HR and I continue to work on and struggle. It's just a national trend. We're actually, WKU is better than our counterparts. And that's good news, but it's just a struggle. Looking at operating expenses, the debt service, again, I reported in prior quarters, is up due to the bonds associated with Chandler Hall and Ford Fieldhouse. Maintenance is primarily higher due to housing related expenses, but they're directly reimbursed from the Student Life Foundation, and also some building out of some companies at the Innovation Campus, but that's happening with direct appropriation from the state of Kentucky. So that's all on the third quarter. So I don't think there's anything not positive in that report, but I'll ask for any questions.
Questions, comments?
I'll echo Susan's thanks to faculty and staff. In a time of uncertainty, y'all work through the legislative session together. I appreciate their diligence, their focus, and their conservatism in how they budget and spend. It's just the world we live in. Thank you.
To entertain a motion that the statement of revenues and expenditures for the 9 months need to be approved. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Faculty and staff personnel actions.
So this is the committee meeting where you will take action on the personnel actions that have occurred between October 1 of 25 and March 31st of 26. So as I read through it, I didn't see any abnormalities or anything that would bring up questions, but you may have some, so I will open it up.
Open up for questions, comments.
The only conversation that we changed this process, and it was a collective group effort to change this process. Just refreshing us at some point, like when do we see these things and what are we seeing? Because we get questions sometimes, like, and I've lost track. And I know we were all agreed on what we were doing, and it's no question about that. It's just when do we see what? Refresh us in the August meeting.
Okay.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion that the faculty and staff personnel actions be approved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have an information item? Quarterly financial statements.
So these are our third quarter financial statements. I just want to remind the board that these are unaudited, your entire staff, but the only audited financial statements are final statements of the year, the fourth quarter and final statements. That's when, as a matter of fact, the auditors are already on campus doing preliminary work, which is unbelievable to me. It feels like it was just yesterday that you all were closing last year's statement. So anyway, and just to remind you too, now that we have our budget and structural balance, that's when things start even improving on your financial statement. So not only was there good news in the budget versus actual, but you start seeing it flow into your financial statement. So balance sheet highlights, first off, your net position in the third quarter made a nice increase of 46 million. The unrestricted net position, again, an increase of 30 million. Cash and cash equivalents is down slightly by 15 million, but that's again directly related to the spending of restricted cash, restricted, not unrestricted, but restricted to those building projects, those construction projects, the Chandler Hall and Ford Fieldhouse. Moving over to the income statement, again, good news there. Operating revenue, we're seeing an increase of 9.9 in revenue. Again, a good portion of that is from the direct result of our improvements in our net tuition revenue. Again, the fundraising for the Chandler Hall and Ford Fieldhouse, and that one-time contribution from the WKU Research Foundation. Operating expenses, that's what finance person always likes to see. When revenues go up and expenses go down. So decreases of 3.9, and that's a direct result of payroll decline. And non-operating revenues, you'll see a decline of 37.4 million. Again, that's directly related to the decline in capital appropriations, spending down for capital. And the decline in grants and contracts that we talked about earlier in the budget. So good financial report for the third quarter from, as I gave Regent Roddy and the president heads up, we ran April numbers yesterday and starting to account for timing entries, and we've even made more improvement in April. So, but I'm happy to take questions.
Just like to thank you and your staff again for the hard work. Much appreciated. Any questions? Not, Madam Chair, that concludes finance budget.
And our final item of business is the executive committee. And we have Amanda Tribune to talk about approval of nonprofit committee.
Thank you, Chair West. I'm happy to be with you all today to seek approval of the philanthropic naming of a gallery space within the Charles Hardcastle, Kentucky building as the Charles Forrester Gallery in recognition of a gift from the Forrester family. Charles Howard Forrester came to WKU in 1965, and he spent 27 years shaping the future of three-dimensional art at this university. He pioneered sculpture, and he helped build out the facilities in the Ivan Wilson Fine Arts Center, facilities that our students are still using today. In fact, if you walk through the sculpture lab right now, you'll actually see his hand-painted labels still on the tools that are lining the walls. Over his lifetime, Dr. Forrester created more than 550 sculptures, including busts of 5 WKU presidents. His work spanned public and private collections internationally. In 2024, his children Winnie and John donated the Forrester collection, over 100 sculptures and associated materials, to the Kentucky Museum. And now the family has made an additional generous commitment to establish the Charles Howard Forrester Art and Legacy Fund, which will support the preservation, conservation, cataloging, and exhibition of that collection for years to come. In recognition of this gift, we would like to seek permission to name the sculpture gallery at the Kentucky Museum that will carry his name. We'll celebrate with a full exhibit of his work opening in 26-27 academic year.
Anybody have any questions for Amanda? Not, I will accept a motion to approve the film property naming. So that's. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? And motion passes. Okay, that concludes business of the executive committee.
Chair West, if
Yeah.
I may, so an important day for our university tonight, a celebration of the reason why we all do what we do and invest our lives in higher education, and our young people and some not so young people who would be completing their degrees and credentials, having them conferred tonight. Regent West, I know you're going to share some highlights, just as the provost did, because when these things are scattered about and reported on or not reported on, sometimes you miss some of the things that we've done during the course of the year. But I just got information associated with commencement that I wanted to share with the board, and it has to do with the number of degrees and credentials we're awarded this year. You will recall last year we hit a record number of degrees and credentials at the university, and I'm very pleased to announce that this year we have surpassed that record number of degrees and credentials, approaching 4,800 graduates. A tremendous accomplishment. But for comparison's sake, when we were at the apex of our enrollment, the number of credentials that we granted was 3,500. And so the focus on student success, the focus on student quality, and helping ensure every young person we admit has the opportunity to graduate is producing tremendous results. And I could not be more proud of the work that the entire administrative team, our faculty and staff have done to ensure that every day we're focused on young people's success and, more importantly, getting their degree and credential. So with that, I will turn it back to you.
Okay, and I want to talk about some of the highlights of this year, which there were many. In addition to the record credentials, we had a record retention rate of 79.4% of first-year students who returned for their sophomore year, which demonstrates the strength of the WKU support systems. We had a graduation rate milestone. 4-year rate reached 50.7%, and the 6-year rate climbed to 59.1%. And that also reflects WKU's focus on completion over enrollment volume. WKU's accreditation with SACSOC was reaffirmed for 10 years with no additional reporting required. We had a great year for our facilities as well. Chandler Hall opened. It was a beautiful facility. Amy and David Chandler Hall. It's the new home of the Gordon Ford College of Business. Tim and Sarah Ford Fieldhouse dedication. Another beautiful and impressive facility. If everybody hasn't seen it, it's fantastic. And it houses multiple programs. Renovations continue on Cherry Hall to preserve this iconic building. And the Elevate WKU Housing Initiative has been launched, and it's a multi-phase public-private partnership, and we are going to modernize the residential facilities on campus. academic complex replacement planning is underway. And that is going to position the College of Health and Human Services and public media for continued growth. In philanthropy, we had a record $44.5 million fundraising year. That is phenomenal, and Amanda and her team have done a great job with this. And this is the 6th record year of fundraising under President Kiboni. Provost Fisher talked about some of the scholarships, but I just wanted to note that WKU had 150 students compete for nationally competitive scholarships. And in addition to the ones that the important scholarships Provost Fisher discussed, there were 6 students that earned foreign scholarships, $25,000 scholarships, and WKU tied for 3rd nationally and was named a top performing institution for the 2nd consecutive year. And another very important prize that was just heard about, one of our students was awarded a Pulitzer Prize, and it was for his work with the Chicago Tribune. His name is Dominic D. Palermo. He's a senior photojournalism student. That's very impressive. As far as our graduate programs, we had 12 that were ranked by U.S. News and were ranked as among the nation's best by U.S. News and World Report. We also had faculty and staff that were honored. Dr. Katrina Birch. She was named the Researcher of the Year by the Kentucky Psychological Association, and Liz Sturgeon was named as Nurse of the Year by the Kentucky Nurses Association. And Dr. Amy Frosch, Conference USA Faculty Achievement Award for Outstanding Scholarship. So we congratulate all of those award winners. We were very, very successful in athletics this year. WKU volleyball was both Conference USA regular season and tournament champions, finishing 27-6. Also, the women's soccer team were Conference USA regular season champions and earned the #1 tournament seed. Had a great year. WKU football were New Orleans Bowl champions, and they defeated Southern Mississippi 27-16 in that game. Hunter Cole Maynard became WKU's first consensus All-American in the FBS era. And then softball is still going on, but the softball team won 19 of its first 22 games and set a program record with a 14-game winning streak. And this is my favorite, record academic achievement in athletes. A record 343 student athletes earned the Conference USA Commissioner's Honor Roll with a 3.0 plus GPA, and a record 101 earned the Conference USA Commissioner's Academic Medal with a 3.75 plus GPA. Very, very impressive. Our forensics team, which is always wonderful, they earned the top spot at the 2026 Kentucky Forensics Association Championship. And for the 33rd consecutive year, the Kentucky State Champion. And WKU won multiple honors at the 2025 Kentucky Broadcasting Association Excellence in Broadcasting Awards. So we want to congratulate everyone that was recognized this year, and a lot of hard work was put into these awards. It's been a great year.
Chair West, if I might just take just a second. As much as an honor it has been to serve on the board this year, and I'm not done quite yet. I will have a quarterly in June. You guys will have to hold on for just a little bit longer. But it is my honor to introduce Mr. Caden Lucas, who will be stepping into my shoes in August. So Caden, if you care to introduce yourself. Sure. Absolutely.
For Regents, it's an honor to be here today. My name is Caden Lucas. I am a junior here on the Hill studying political science and legal studies. I'm originally from Harnett, Kentucky. One of my favorite things to say is I'm a fourth generation Hilltopper. So my mother was here in the 90s, my grandfather in the 60s, and my great grandfather before that. So I've had a long time, long family history here at WKU. More than honored, more than blessed to be able to step into Rush's seat here in just a little bit. But specifically to carry out the mission of the university and hold up the values and traditions that my family has held so dear for many decades. It's an honor to be able to do that work with you all and to be here in this room. So thank you all, and I look forward to getting to work. Appreciate it.
I have no doubts that Kaden will do a better job than I did.
Anybody have anything else? Well, look forward to seeing everyone